Hi there, this is garyryanblair. Today we're going to talk about self-reliance. I'm going to provide you with a message that is a good, hard kick right in the behind, a serious wake-up call in order to take action. So let's get going. Nete quid versa extra is Latin for do not seek for things outside of yourself. It's a call to look within and become self-reliant. And in this message, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how to do it in 10 not-so-easy steps. See, the biggest trend that I've seen over the last few decades is the complete abandonment of self-reliance. And if you run the clock back just a generation or two, most people were self-sufficient. Most people did things for themselves. I'm talking about oil changes, taxes, preserving food, cooking, changing a flat tire, and even getting off the couch to switch the television channel, to name just a few. Today, we're a nation of people desperate for the government, a piece of technology, or some outside party to fix our problems and to make our pain or inconveniences go away. Now, let me state this with absolute conviction. This message is not about changing your oil or learning how to start a fire without a match. But it is about soft efforts, diminishing ambitions, and shrinking balls. You see, no matter how you look at it, we've become a society of soft, wimpy, fearful, politically correct, entitlement-driven, hypersensitive, immature, and convenience-addicted weenies. And here's the thing. Security, strength, self-confidence, and prosperity comes from one place and one place only. And it's the last place that most of us want to look. It comes from within. It comes from your ability to stand on your own 2 feet and to produce results. You see, every time you choose safety, security, and dependence on outside parties, you weaken your personal power and you make it that much easier for everyone to beat you. You must be strong enough to stand alone. You must be smart enough to know when you need help. And most importantly, you must be brave enough to ask for it. And if self-reliance means a strong belief in your own ability to achieve success and happiness, then dependency is an absence of such belief. And until you learn to take full responsibility for yourself, for your results, and for your future, you'll never fully know just how strong and capable you really are. Self-reliance is a virtue in need of serious cultivation for one primary reason, because it's all about freedom from the control and the influence of outside parties. It's a simple concept that encourages each one of us to take responsibility for our own needs, and I'm talking physical, emotional, spiritual, social, and of course economic. And to put it more bluntly, it's an understanding that nobody owes you anything and that you must do your own push-ups. Yet even though self-reliance is such a critical life skill, why on earth is society filled with so many wimpy, excuse-making, responsibility-dodging, entitlement-driven people looking for a handout? Well, the answer, like many others, can be found in both government and in the home. You see, many programs throughout the world have been set up by well-meaning individuals and institutions to aid those who are in need. However, many of these programs are designed with a short-sighted objective of helping people, as opposed to helping people help themselves. And as a result, the beneficiaries of these handouts, or what you might want to call helping hands, more often become dependent upon them. And rather than inspiring self-reliance, they often accomplish just the opposite. And by providing people with handouts and free money in the form of universal basic income, by removing obstacles from their path, and by eliminating the need for labor and learning from their own mistakes, we are indeed establishing a bad precedent. Now, I'm talking about a bad precedent that's virtually impossible to reverse, as once people get a taste, once they get a taste of something for nothing they want, they will expect and they will demand more of it. And instead of promoting self-reliance, we're guilty of enabling weakness and encouraging people to become reliant upon others. And to bottom line this point, unnecessary dependence upon others is a false sense of security that only serves to make you weak, insecure, and highly vulnerable. It's the ultimate act of self-betrayal, as your talents will never see the light of day. And by shielding yourself from independence, from challenges, from failure, unpleasant tasks, and adversity, you are in effect doing yourself more harm than good. That is why our efforts must be directed towards making able-bodied people self-reliant. Now, parents, let's focus on that for just a moment. Parents have a sacred responsibility to look after the welfare of their children. And as children grow older, they must become more responsible for their own welfare. Parents must teach them the basics of work, service, responsibility, goal setting, money management, and self-reliance. Now, why is it, you might ask? Because it's not what you do for your children. but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. The world needs confident and competent men and women. Unfortunately, many parents are committing a serious crime by not teaching self-reliance. By shielding their children from challenges, from failure, unpleasant tasks, and adversity, too many parents are actually doing more harm than good. And for young people to rely upon others to do what they can, they should, and they must do for themselves is not only unhealthy for the development of skills, but it also makes them psychologically weak, confidence deprived, and quite literally, it puts their very future at risk. So what's the solution? How do you do it? How do you become self-reliant? How do you cut the cord of dependency and take complete control of your life and your destiny? Well, what I'm going to do right now is to explain to you how to become self-reliant in 10 not-so-easy steps. Step number 1, you must become a nonconformist. You must learn to think for yourself. You must avoid following popular opinion, and you must resist conforming to the weak and highly vulnerable will of the majority. You've got to trust your own instincts, your ideas, your principles, and common sense. And to be true to yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the single greatest accomplishment that you can make. Step number 2 is you must stand for and defend your principles. See, it pains me to think how easily people capitulate their dreams to badges, to titles, and to manipulative organizations or institutions. But the truth is, nothing on this earth can bring you freedom but yourself, and nothing can bring you peace but the triumph of your own principles. The integrity of your own mind and the principles that you believe to be honorable and just are the things you must fight for and protect against any opposition. That brings us to step number 3, which is you must insist on being authentic. There's a time in everyone's life that they arrive at the conviction that envy is ignorance, that imitation is suicide, and that you must take yourself for better or worse. You must insist on being yourself, and you must work to cultivate your gift. Authenticity over everything else must be the code by which you live by. Step number 4, you must surrender unnecessary dependence. You see, only the weak, the insecure, and the confidence deprived, they're the ones who strive for security and dependency on others. Therefore, you must identify where you're currently dependent by taking inventory of your life. You must look for any unnecessary and unhealthy situations, and you must resolve to move them to a state of self-reliance. And you need to do it with immediate effect. Number 5, you must seek approval only from yourself. Learning to rely on yourself means that you need to accept and appreciate everything about who you are. You need to look inward for affirmation of your choices and stop relying on others' opinions about who you are and what you do. You see, when you have no faith in yourself, it drains you of personal power and it forces you to rely on others for strength and assistance. But when you learn to seek approval only from yourself and to build up your own self-esteem, you quickly realize you don't need others to accept you. You approve of you. Number 6, you must confront and overcome challenges, adversity, and obstacles. You must have the understanding that the world is filled with challenge and adversity, not to stop you, not to make you give up on your dreams, and not to get you to suck your thumb and call your mother for help. But they exist to develop internal strength, to fortify your character, to encourage gritty perseverance, and most importantly, to build self-reliance. And number 7, you must work and produce results. The fact is, honorable work is the most foundational source of happiness, self-worth, and prosperity. And your single greatest asset and your primary sense of security and freedom extends from your ability to produce results. And that is what self-reliance is all about. You need to be a contributing member of society. You need to pay for your own mortgage, your own cell phone, gasoline, insurance, and student loans, and you need to put food on your own table. Now, I say this not because I'm a Democrat or a Republican, a liberal or a conservative. I say this because you're an adult, and these are your responsibilities. And number 8, you must become a student for life. Those who have the lowest level of skill and the weakest capacity for adapting to change will find themselves non-competitive, unemployed, and highly dependent upon others. And propelled by the competitive imperatives of speed, global responsiveness, disruptive technologies, and the need to innovate constantly or perish, learning is the essential hedge against extinction and total dependence upon others. Number 9, You must become free from debt. Money is a faithful, loyal servant, and we are its master. It allows us to enjoy freedom, it expands our options, and it helps us to make much greater choices. However, when we get into debt, the roles change. We find ourselves in a position of slave and losing our freedom. And make no mistake about it, the person who owes money is a servant to the person or to the corporation who lends them that money. Never are you less free than when you're in debt. And that brings us to the last one, number 10, which is, in my opinion, the single most important reason why you want to become self-reliant. And that is, you must become your own hero. You see, no one in history got wealthy from stimulus checks or on welfare. No one in history got healthy from eating junk food. No one in history got successful from sitting on their ass and binge watching Netflix. Because in the end, becoming self-reliance is all about choosing yourself. It's about rescuing yourself, and it's about becoming your own hero. And to be your own hero means to be emotionally committed to a cause, to a problem, or to a project, which in turn enables you to go to places that others are afraid to go, to try things that others are afraid to try, and to be the kind of courageous person that others are simply too afraid to be. The world needs people who care about the work they do, about the people they serve, the results they produce, and the impact they are making. The world needs strong, courageous, independent thinking people who want to use their creative ideas and unique talents in order to make a lasting difference. The world needs leaders who can lead, leaders who set inspiring examples, leaders who demonstrate trust, and leaders who make things happen. The world needs people with guts, people with passion, and people who are willing to be shunned and rejected in the pursuit of their goals and dreams. And most importantly, the world needs you. The world needs all of you, the brave you, the risk-taking you, the big thinking, highly capable, and it needs, most importantly, the self-reliant you. You see, my goal in putting together this message was to educate and to explain to you that your freedom is under attack, and that the enforcers for the controlling and ruling class are waging a relentless psychological war to turn you into a fearful, compliant sheep who is dependent on the government for a handout. They will not relent until we, the people ourselves, put a stop to it, and the only way for us to live freely is total refusal to comply with any and all government mandates. And we've come a long way since President John F. Kennedy uttered these famous words on January 20th, 1961. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. And what you and I can indeed do for our country, and what all humanity can do for each other, is to embrace the awesome power of self-reliance. That's why I'm calling you out right now, to stand up, to put the remote down, to stop tweeting, to challenge yourself, and to become your own hero. And becoming your own hero is just one of the many reasons why you want to participate in the 100-Day Challenge. So check it out at 100daychallenge.com and make it the very next thing you do.